They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But the truth is, in this city, your past can find you faster than you can place a bet. I should know. I tried to vanish here and found the one thing I'd spent my life running from, myself. I never wanted to turn 27 like this. Not alone, in a haze of neon and regret, at a blackjack table on the edge of the strip, where the nights smelled like cheap cologne, old money, and even older disappointments. But there I was, in a casino so exclusive you couldn't find the entrance without an invitation, clutching my last $50 chip in fingers that still trembled from last year's disaster. I told myself I just needed a night out. Just one small, shining indulgence before I forgot what it felt like to matter. Instead, I watched perfect strangers stake fortunes that would have paid my rent for a decade, their laughter swimming in the air, smug and untouchable. I must have looked invisible, an extra in somebody else's story, because no one made eye contact. Not the waiter in his spotless white jacket, not the cocktail server balanced on stilettos, not even the other women dressed up in hope and diamonds. I lingered, wishing I'd dressed nicer, done something with my hair. But my big splurge was this shimmery secondhand dress black with silver threads. A little tight in the chest, but forgiving in the waist. It made me look less ghostly under the casino's golden chandelier light. My reflection told a story I didn't want to remember. Girl from nowhere, working too many jobs, not enough prospects, and barely holding it together since my last birthday shattered the illusion that I was special. That was the day my mother died. She'd been my only anchor, even as illness gnawed her away year by year. By the time I stood by her graveside in Reno, as the wind whipped dust around our shoes, I knew nobody else would ever come looking for me, ever again. She used to say, "Miranda, you're tougher than Vegas bourbon, never let them see you beg." But I was so tired of being tough, tired of rolling coins just to buy cold cereal, tired of seeing overdue stamped in red across bills on the kitchen counter, tired of trying. Tonight was supposed to be a reclamation, a rebellion, a joke at the world's expense. So why did every minute press heavier on my bones? I bet my last chip on the color red, just so I could feel something. When the cruel little marble landed black, I almost laughed out loud. Of course, destiny had a twisted sense of humor. That was when everything changed. When the lights seemed to pulse, the air tensed, and every sound grew sharper. I sensed it before I saw it, the arrival of someone who never had to wonder if they belonged. He strode into the room like gravity refocused around him, each step deliberate, the kind you look up at, not down on. At first, I caught only impressions. The cut of his tailored suit, charcoal on a body too powerful for the cliches of white-collar crime. The impossible sharpness of his jaw, dusted with just the right amount of evening stubble. The way the staff straightened as if awaiting a king or a judge. That's when someone whispered, "That's Max Rez. He owns the whole damn place." It should have meant nothing to me. Just another arrogant billionaire with a mysterious tan and a dangerous reputation, whose name showed up in every magazine that liked to hint at Russian roots and mob ties but never actually said the words out loud. But the instant his eyes ice blue and unblinking raked over the tables and landed on me, for the first time that night, I didn't feel invisible. I felt watched, hunted. He crossed the floor without hurry, shadows following him. I looked down, desperate to seem busy, fiddling with my phone, though the screen was blank. You'd think I'd be used to men like him, the ones who made small towns and big cities dangerous for women like me, soft-spoken, poor, unimportant. But there was nothing common about this man. Something primal in how the crowd parted for him, unwilling or unable to get in his way. A hand touched my shoulder, feet planted beside my seat. "You alone tonight, miss?" His voice was something out of a memory, a dark thing dressed in velvet and threat. I nodded, searching his face for kindness and finding only curiosity, maybe even a flicker of something hungry. But before I could make up an excuse and run, he leaned closer, perfume mixing with the scent of wood smoke and top-shelf whiskey, and whispered words that changed everything. "Tonight, you're with me. You understand?" At first, I wanted to protest, make a scene, tell him I'm not for sale. But I was tired of scenes, and the honest truth was, The danger in his eyes promised something my lonely heart had secretly craved. To be noticed, maybe even wanted. He didn't wait for my answer. With a wordless gesture, he summoned a private dealer to our table. High-rolling regulars turned their heads, mouths parting with gossip they'd never say aloud. The dealer smiled nervously, laying out crispy $1,000 chips like offerings. Max slid a chip toward me, the red gleaming. "That's something you'd miss," he murmured. His finger brushed mine, sending a shock of heat up my arm. Before I knew it, the table wasn't a graveyard anymore. It was a stage, and I was his co-star. My breath caught. The city faded. All that mattered was the game and the man who, for reasons I couldn't fathom, had chosen me. Across the table, Max's lips curled in a half-smile. "If you win, tell me one thing you've never admitted to anyone. If you lose, you owe me a secret in return." My heart pounded. Bait, challenge, and promise, all tangled in a voice even the slot machines seemed to hush for. "Well, Miranda Crawford," he asked, tracing my name like he owned it, "are you feeling lucky?" My hand trembled as I reached for another chip, wondering if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life, or if this was the night everything changed. But before I could answer, a commotion erupted at the main entrance. Suited men pushing someone frantic, shouting about debts, threats, something else lost at the tables. The whole casino's attention snapped away from me and Max. He leaned even closer, his breath ghosting along my ear. "Stay with me, Miranda. No matter what happens next." In that suspended second heart in my throat, the glittering world holding its breath, my story truly began. New threat, new protector, table turns. Next block, deeper into Max's world secrets, protection, and danger mingling with the lights of Las Vegas. The next few minutes were a fevered dream, part adrenaline, part panic, part the dizzying realization that every eye in that vaulted casino, from hustlers to high rollers to the camera behind the baccarat wheel, flicked back and forth between Max Rez and me like we were the main show. I wished I could disappear, that I could flicker out like a dying bulb. But he anchored me, a lighthouse in this electric storm. He sat close, so close I could feel the press of his thigh through the thin silk of my dress, the slow, steady draw of his breath. He smelled impossibly good, like Santal, expensive laundry, some spice I couldn't name, and smoke. Even the air seemed heavier, as if his presence had recalibrated how much oxygen there was to go around. Max's voice, lower now, unhurried, yet capable of cutting through the din, was focused only for me. "Do you believe in luck, Miranda?" I made myself meet those storm-colored eyes. My voice came out smaller than I'd intended. "Not anymore." His head tilted, a ghost of a smile. "Lucky for me." "Ideal in certainty?" He snapped his fingers, and just like that, the panic at the entrance was swept aside. Security swarmed, deal-making resumed, and the casino snapped back to normal. "Well, almost." The dealer's hands trembled a little as she shuffled. I didn't even remember placing the bet. The cards appeared, black and glossy. The table lights reflected off Max's watch, a gleaming silver band that whispered of wealth I'd only seen in magazine ads. Dealer pushed cards forward, her gaze flickering to Max, then me, somewhere between fear and awe. King and 5 for me. Ace and queen for him. He tapped the table. Let it ride. He was daring the universe and daring me. I peeked at him sideways, voice barely above a whisper. "Doesn't playing with the owner break all the rules?" He only smiled. "I write the rules?" His hand brushed the back of mine with accidental elegance, fingers hot against my skin. For a heartbeat, I let myself believe I was safe. That maybe, just maybe, tonight was the first page of a chapter written by someone who actually cared, or at least someone powerful enough to pretend. The table was silent. My card stood. The dealer hesitated, then bussed for her. Max looked at me. "Your secret, Miranda. Give it to me or keep it. But if you lie..." He leaned in, lips close enough that the world blurred. "I'll know." He should have terrified me, and maybe he did, but not the way everyone else in my life had. He was the kind of dangerous I wanted to touch just once, even if I burned for it. I drew a breath. Some nights I think about vanishing, walking away from my whole damn life. just to see if anyone notices. He didn't flinch. He considered me a long moment, his gaze softening. Then, not everyone leaves tracks. Some people are invisible until they breathe fire. The word struck somewhere private, a place even grief hadn't fully reached. Suddenly, a woman in diamonds, young, hard-eyed and beautiful in an expensive, clinical way, stalked over, her heels a staccato on the glass tiles. "Max, we have a situation with your associate in the back. It can't wait." She didn't even look at me, but her tone dripped with challenge. He turned to her, but his thumb pressed against my wrist, grounding me. "Miranda is with me tonight." "Anything else can wait," she bristled. "We can't." His look caught her dead. The kind of look that said, "Push me and you'll regret it." She turned on her heel, vanishing back into the shadows. I tried to shrink, but Max kept that steady hand on me. "Don't mind Sonia," he said quietly. "She's protective. Of my business, mostly. Not my personal choices." That hint, the suggestion that this us might be personal, shot spirals of confusion and longing all through me. Did he really see something, or was I just tonight's distraction? The next hour blurred. He led me away from the tables, up a narrow staircase. The carpet so plush my heels sank in. We crossed a gold-trimmed balcony. Below us, the casino sparkled, orchestral music piping from hidden speakers. The air up here tasted different, cool, scented with fur and trailing cigarette smoke. He opened a gilded door to a private suite. It was breathtaking. A wall of windows facing the galaxy of Vegas, a mahogany bar, a fireplace flickering in one corner. It was a different world. I felt like Alice tumbling down the rabbit hole, only more afraid and more alive than I'd ever felt. Max poured 2 glasses of whiskey, setting one in front of me. "You need something real in your system. You're shivering." I hadn't realized I was, but I accepted the glass. He pulled off his jacket and draped it gently around my shoulders. His scent, his heat, surrounded me, intimate and jarring all at once. "Why me?" I finally asked. "Why tonight?" He considered. "Because I recognize ghosts. Because casinos are full of desperate people. But only one person tonight looked like she was braver than her heartbreak." I almost laughed at the audacity of his answer. "And what does a man like you want from a woman like me?" His eyes flashed with something darker, possessive, unhidden. "Tonight, I want everything that's real. I want you to tell me where it hurts." I bit back a memory last December, my bank account flashing negative, my apartment cold as a tomb. Instead, I blurted, "I thought about walking out earlier. Thought about never looking back." He set his glass aside and came closer, standing behind me, fingers brushing my hair aside until his mouth was close to my ear. I nearly jumped at the contact, every inch of me noisy with feeling. "Miranda, don't ever vanish without letting me find you." It was ridiculous, impossible. And yet, the longing in his words made something bloom inside me that I hadn't let grow in years. We stood like that, the city far below, his arms slowly, carefully circling my waist as if asking for silent permission. I didn't push him away. I told myself over and over, "Get up, leave, this is dangerous." But it had been so long since anyone looked at me and didn't see right through me. As if reading my thoughts, Max murmured, "There are people in this casino who would destroy you for a favor, Miranda. But tonight, you're under my protection." I twisted in his arms, looking up into that impossible, battle-hardened face, and asked, "Are you dangerous?" He smiled, a slow, haunting curve. Always. That was the moment everything in me shifted. The door behind us banged open. Sonia's voice, urgent, echoed off the marble. "Max, they're here. The Russians. They said if you don't come down, they're going to drag her out instead." His arms tightened. The spell shattered. I barely realized we'd become the pawns in someone else's game. He pressed a kiss into my hair. "Don't move. No matter what you hear. This is my fight." Before I could stop him, he strode out, the door swinging behind him. I was left in the hush, jacket wrapped around me, the taste of whiskey hot and bright in my mouth. For the first time in years, I wanted to believe in angels, even if mine had just gone to war. If this story has you on edge, if you've ever felt invisible or wanted to escape, I hope you'll share your thoughts below, or let me know where you're reading from. It makes this journey real for both of us, so hit subscribe and join me for the next chapter. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens when the doors reopen. I stood trembling in Max Rez's private suite, the hush punctuated only by the distant pulse of bass from the casino floor. His jacket hung heavy on my shoulders, holding the shape and scent of a world that wasn't mine, a world built on secrets, thick as velvet, draped in money and menace. Every minute that passed, my nerves stitched tighter, waiting, wondering, what did I get myself into? What did Max mean? This is my fight. I tried pacing once around the bar, then again. The glass walls overlooked all of Vegas, 1,000 pinpricks of light pretending the darkness couldn't swallow us. I stared down, searching for answers in the city's blinking chaos. Somewhere below, roulette wheels spun, fortunes flipped, lives changed with a flick of a wrist. My phone buzzed a text from Jenna, my only real friend left from the years before my world collapsed. A cheap thrill of comfort surged through me. Gemma, did you get home yet? Please tell me you're not still there. I'm still here. Something happened. Something big. Jenna, what? Tell me you didn't get into trouble at that place. Text me the minute you can talk, or I'm calling the cops, I swear. I almost typed back that her worry was pointless, that the real trouble in my life was always of my own making. Instead, I just texted I'm safe. I think we'll call soon. A new noise broke the hush and mechanical blip. Somewhere by the bar, I jumped, heart hammering, afraid I'd triggered some silent alarm. But the door stayed closed. On the other side, Max's low, Russian-tinged voice sparkled with steel. You bring guests into my house and threaten them? Is this America or a circus, Victor? Another man's laughter, cold as dry ice. Business is business, my friend. You, of all people, should know liabilities must be contained. I pressed my back to the door, fingers digging into the brocade. Were they talking about me? Outside, glass shattered. A chorus of angry shouts, someone barking commands in Russian. Then a sound that gutted me, a dull thump, like someone getting thrown hard into a wall. I didn't come here for threats, Max's tone flat. Your people cross my line, they disappear. You want to gamble, Victor, you play my game. Adrenaline made time go strange. Every second lasted 100 years, but I barely breathed. Suddenly the quiet shattered, the door flung open, and Max stormed in with Sonia shadowing him, her phone already pressed to her ear, rapid Russian tumbling out. Max's jaw was sharp as broken glass, but he softened when his gaze found me shivering by the bar. He crossed to me, big hands bracketing my face. Did they come in here? Did you hear anything odd? I shook my head, though my heart was still thundering. He studied me, searching my eyes for cracks, then pressed his thumb gently against my chin. If you ever feel unsafe ever, you tell me. Promise? I nodded, barely trusting myself to speak. What if it's you I should be afraid of? He grinned, ferocious. You're smart. But tonight there are bigger monsters in the hallways than me. Sonia broke in, her voice clipped. We need to move her. They're not leaving. Tell her, Max. He took my arm, not rough, but urgent, and guided me out, down a back corridor lined with mirrored doors. His presence was both shield and shadow. I hated how much I craved the former, feared the latter. A security guard, tall and silent, fell in behind us. Elevators clear. He murmured to Sonia. She nodded, eyeing me like I was either a new recruit or a new problem. The elevator ride was mercifully quick. When the doors whispered open, we stepped into a far less polished wing. No gold, no mahogany. Concrete walls, bare bulbs, the smell of cleaning solvents, and distant dust. We have safe rooms for this kind of drama, Max said, still holding my hand. Vegas isn't always lights and luck. He opened a door, and for a split second, I wished I could vanish. Inside, a brutally neat room, single bed, no windows. There was a security camera in the corner. I nearly turned and bolted. Max saw my hesitation. It's only until I finish this. I won't let them touch you. Not now, not ever. He looked down, searching my face for fear or trust, Or maybe just that same haunted ache I'd carried for years. What if I'm not worth the trouble? My words soft but jagged. He bent, pressing his forehead briefly to mine. Everyone is worth the trouble to someone, Miranda. Tonight, it's you. Soon enough, it will be your turn to save me. Then he left, the door locking with a soft click that felt final, and so much more than physical. I sat, heart pounding, every nerve raw. On the cot, next to a crisp white pillow, was a folded slip of notepaper. I opened it, hands shaking. Do you trust me even a little? If yes, stay. If not, leave through the service stairwell in 5 minutes. No one will stop you, but if you go, you'll never get the full story. And this night will end how all the others did, forgotten. I bit my lip, eyes burning. Leave? Search for safety in a city that had only ever taken from me, or trust the only person who had given me a choice. A buzzer sounded. Someone slid a tray through a slot in the door. Steak, potatoes, fresh bread, a bottle of water. The kind of meal I hadn't had since Mom was alive. Is this real kindness or just another trick? Who am I in this world to Max Rez? What is he fighting, and does my presence make me priceless or expendable? From the hall, scuffles. Shouting, a thump, silence. I pressed my ear to the door, heart in my mouth, trying to listen for any sign that the world was about to shift again. And knowing, deep down, that whatever was coming next, I'd already chosen to stay. The safe room, the note, the unknown threat in the hall. Miranda chooses to stay, but at what cost? Her reality is about to explode. Sitting on that narrow bed in the safe room, I felt time crawling and leaping in equal measure. Every sound was louder. The hum of mechanical air, the muffled voices beyond the thick door, the echo of my own heartbeat. This wasn't some luxury suite or penthouse dream, it was survival. Stripped bare, reality raw and close. My mind kept circling Max's words. Soon enough, it will be your turn to save me. Save him? How could a nobody like me save a king of shadows? My old life, the one where the fanciest thing I owned was a thrift store jacket, felt impossibly distant. And yet, the woman I'd always been was coiled tight inside me, tough from years of fighting off the world. Haunted by losses, desperate for something that felt like hope. The air shifted. Footsteps, then a code beeped at the lock. I tensed, coiling up tighter, but it was Sonia, heels clicking, face serious under the brutal glare of the single light. She set a tablet on the metal table, folded her arms, and just stared. For a moment, I saw past the ice to something jagged and anxious. Sit, she said, motioning to the table. Eat if you can. You'll need the energy to think straight. I pushed the tray away, meeting her gaze. Why am I really here? I'm nobody. I have nothing, no money, no pull. Why is Max risking so much for me? She clicked her tongue, impatience flickering. You really think this is about you? Then she stopped herself, softening just a fraction. Max doesn't protect people without cause. You remind him of someone. A ghost, maybe. Or maybe you're more useful than you think. I stared back. Is that supposed to comfort me? No, it's just the truth. She studied me again. You've been dealt a bad hand. But so has he. Don't mistake kindness for weakness. And don't mistake protection for love. I tried to read her face, searching for some crack of sisterhood beneath all that armor. I saw flickers, maybe just for a second, of someone who'd had to claw her way to the top, every inch earned. I risked a whisper. Are you afraid of him? She didn't answer at first. Then, no one who works with Max is ever completely at ease. Not if they're smart. Her phone buzzed. She checked it, face darkening. Stay here. Don't answer the door for anyone but me or Max and Miranda. She hesitated. You're not as alone as you think. She left as quickly as she'd come, leaving a faint trace of Chanel and uncertainty. Alone again, I tried to eat, but every mouthful stuck. A storm was building somewhere beyond these walls, and I could feel its charge in my bones. What if I am just a liability? What if he's using me to bait something worse? I wandered the room, restless. At the edge of the table was the tablet. Curious, I powered it on. The screen flickered, revealing a video call in progress. It took a second to register, but my blood ran cold. On video, Max, his face grim, his tie loosened, a bruise rising on his jaw. He was somewhere I didn't recognize, a warehouse, maybe walls daubed with ugly graffiti, sounds of movement and shouting behind him. He saw the camera go live and his eyes softened, the kind of look no one had ever given me, not even Mom in our gentle days. "Miranda, you there?" I swallowed. "I'm here. What's going on?" His knuckles were bloody. Behind him, men shouted in Russian and English, threats pinging off concrete. Max didn't look away. "They want me to give you up. Say your leverage. That you're hiding something important," he said quietly, voice rough. "But you're not, are you?" I shook my head, but something in me froze. How could he be so sure? What if the secret I've been carrying, one that haunted me for years, isn't so harmless? He pressed both hands to the table, breathing harsh. "Miranda, I need you to trust me now. This isn't about the casino or the money. Someone's selling information about me, someone close. I have to find out who, before this gets us both killed." A chill gutted me. "You think I'm the leak?" He shook his head sharply. "No, but they will if I don't get answers by midnight. I need to know something, Miranda. Something nobody else does. The truth, even if it hurts." All the wounds I'd bandaged over the years throbbed open in that moment. I wanted to lie safe, easy, no consequences. Instead, I told the truth. Because somehow, with Max, truth felt like a weapon and a lifeline. I know how to disappear. I learned it when my mother died. My voice wavered, tears hot and sudden. I can change my name, vanish from every system. I did it once after I saw something I shouldn't have years ago. Something that got someone hurt. His eyes sharpened. "Miranda, what did you see?" The words spilled before I could dam them up. "I saw a man, one of your people, years ago, Reno. He was shot in front of a nightclub. I never went to the police, but I disappeared that night. I thought maybe someone finally put my face together, that the danger had followed me here." Max ran a shaking hand through his hair. "That night was my brother?" His voice softer, broken now. You were there?" Shock bolted through me. I remembered the flashes, the gunshot, the blood, my own shriek, stumbling into the darkness with my mother, hiding for weeks. I'd tried for so long to erase that horror. He covered his face. When he looked back up, the world behind his eyes had shifted, pain, recognition, almost. "Relief? You're not the threat, Miranda. You're the only witness. That's why they want you." A new voice erupted behind him, off-camera male, guttural, dangerous. "Time's up, Rez." Max barked back. "She's not the one." "I know who is now." The feed crackled, noises rising into chaos. The screen went black. I screamed at the tablet, tears streaming. Alone again, the silence closing tight, I understood the stakes were higher than I'd ever guessed. My life wasn't just in danger, so was Max's. And for the first time, I was more than a pawn. I was the only key. The next minute, an eternity later, the door flew open. Max, battered but breathing, eyes blazing. He crossed to me in 2 strides, hands trembling as he framed my face. He didn't kiss me, not yet, but his breath shuddered against my skin. "You stay with me now. I was wrong to leave. The people hunting you, they're mine." But someone on my side lied. I clutched his shirt, looking up at a man willing to burn for the truth, stunned at the power of my own secrets. "What do we do now?" He leaned in, voice raw and intimate. "We run, we fight, together." Behind us, Sonia appeared in the doorway, gun drawn, scanning the hallway. "We have to move. They know she's here. It's not safe anymore." Max gripped my hand, determination blazing. "You trust me?" For the first time in years, I did. As we vanished into the back corridors, the night alive with shouts and shadows, I realized the story I'd been living was only the prologue to what really mattered. And someone I never expected was about to betray us both. Chaos was immediate. Alarms blared, radios crackled. "Team Bravo to the service exit now." And the once peaceful casino became a maze of moving shadows and flashing lights. Max's grip was iron as he yanked me down a corridor painted with safety stripes, leading into the unseen depths of the building. Sonia stormed ahead, clearing doorways, movement sharp, gun glinting in her fist. Behind us, pounding footsteps. Shouts in a mixture of Russian and English. "She's the target. Don't lose her." My blood turned to sleep. "Faster," Max hissed, voice barely more than a growl. "Hold on to me." Don't look back. A series of service doors flashed past in a blur: storage, linen, a locked stairwell. Sonia slammed her shoulder into a final door. It screeched open onto a cavernous, half-lit parking garage smelling of oil and exhaust. She scanned the shadows, then jerked her chin toward a sleek black SUV still idling, keys dangling from the ignition. "In!" She barked, and I tumbled into the back seat, Max sliding in after me, Sonia behind the wheel. The engine roared. Headlights caught a cluster of men racing from the far wall, guns raised. Sonia gunned it, tires shrieking, bullets pinging off concrete with terrifying sing-song. For a breathless second, we spun out, then peeled toward a ramp that spiraled up and out into the city's endless night. Max turned, eyes wild, hands cupping my face in the darkness. "You hurt?" "Just alive," I whispered, only now feeling the bruises on my knees, the rawness in my throat. He drew me close, breath harsh and broken. "I should have gotten you out sooner. I never wanted you for this." I couldn't answer, not when his lips crashed against mine. Fierce and tender in equal measure, claiming and promising all at once. Sonia didn't flinch. She floored the accelerator and didn't look back. When we finally broke from the garage onto the main strip, a blur of neon and blurred headlights, Sonia twisted around. Phones off, windows down. We switched cars in 3 blocks. Her eyes softened, just a fraction, as she took in my trembling hands. "We'll get you safe, Miranda." "I swear it." Max pulled away but kept me close, arm solid around my waist. "Someone I trust sold us out," he said quietly, tone gravelly with fury and regret. "Someone inside my circle." A flash of memory: security guards, whispered orders, Sonia's urgent warnings lit up my mind. I glanced at her, then back at Max. "How do you know who?" He shook his head. "Everyone has a tell, but tonight, it was the cameras." He met Sonia's gaze in the rearview mirror. The feed was looped. The only one who could manage that is... A sudden jolt, the car's rear window exploded, spraying glass. Another black SUV veered alongside, masked figures inside, guns drawn. "Down!" Sonia screamed, swerving hard. We pitched left. The world spun. I landed tangled in Max, his blood hot against my skin as a bullet grazed his arm. He winced, but kept me shielded. The pursuing CUV rammed us, metal shrieking. Sonia snarled, twisted the wheel, and clipped a bright orange traffic divider. The collision sent our pursuers spinning. In the rush of adrenaline, I heard Max's whispered curse. Then his eyes landed on Sonia, and for a breath, something unspoken passed between them. She hit the brakes, hand darting to the glove compartment as the other vehicle slammed to a stop behind us. Suddenly, Sonia spun, training her gun not at the attackers, but at Max. My blood froze. "Out. Both of you." Her voice flat as slate. Max's jaw worked, fury bleeding through. "Sonia, don't do this." "We were family." She shook her head, eyes shining. "Family is dead in this world, Max. You killed it when you chose her." I tried to sit up, heart fracturing. "Why, Sonia?" Pain flickered across her face, more raw than anything I'd ever seen. "Because he destroyed my brother. Because I spent my life guarding a man who never looked twice at me, but would burn the world for someone lost and reckless." She stepped back, gun steady. "Get out." "Give her up, Max, and you get to survive." Max edged in front of me, voice like thunder. "You're not touching her. The only way you win now is by killing us both." Tears gleamed on Sonia's cheeks, sharp and fast. "You're a fool, Max. Love doesn't save people like us. It ruins us." The air hung heavy, the whole city holding its breath. Off in the darkness, scratching tires, more men pouring toward us. I looked at Sonia, broken by betrayal and grief, and spoke the only truth I had left. "You don't have to be this," I whispered. "You are my lifeline tonight. Don't become what you hate." she wavered. Just long enough. Max lunged, grabbing her wrist. A struggle seconds. Forever. I scrambled from the car, adrenaline carrying me into the chaos as Max wrestled Sonia's gun from her grip. A shot rang out. Sonia screamed and crumpled, clutching her leg. The gun clattered to the ground. Max caught my hand. Run, Miranda. This is our only shot. We bolted into the night, sirens rising, Vegas burning behind us. We didn't stop until we reached a crowded side street, the pulse of the world returning in thunderous beats. Max, breathless and bleeding, looked at me as if he'd only just realized what he could lose. I'm nothing without you. But as long as you're with me, maybe one of us can survive. In that moment, chased, hunted, shadows closing on all sides, I realized for the first time, survival wasn't the only thing worth fighting for. Sometimes, what kept you alive was the person who finally saw you for everything you were broken, brave and impossibly precious. And in the ruined heart of Las Vegas, two fugitives left behind everything they'd ever trusted for a chance at something that felt like fate. We ran with the city swallowing us, the night thick as bruised velvet. Sirens wailed behind us, lights ricocheting over brick and glass. I'd always thought Vegas never really slept all neon and ceaseless noise, but in this moment, it seemed to hold its breath, giving us cover in darkness as the rest of the world sped by. Max's blood dotted the sidewalk, staining his sleeve darker. He limped but never let go of my hand. Every pulse in my body beat with fear, adrenaline, and the terrible knowledge that we were each other's only safe harbor now. We ducked into a service alley behind a breakfast diner, breath fogging in the cold. I pressed him against the wall, searching his face. You're shot. You need a doctor. He gritted his teeth, features haggard and fierce. Not until you're safe. His voice was as soft as I ever heard. Don't let me close my eyes, Miranda. If I pass out, you run. You do not turn back. I shook my head and ripped the hem from my dress, tying it around his arm. I'm not leaving you. If you die, we both do. Somewhere inside the diner, someone was yelling about a lost wallet. Someone else was laughing at a bad joke. Lives going on, utterly untouched by ours. For a split second, I mourned how simple it had been before everything I wanted was survival in a hand that wouldn't let go. Come on, Max whispered. We need wheels, quick. I know someone. We skirted the edge of the strip, barely visible, nearly invisible, sometimes ducking beneath blinking signs that painted us pink, blue, gold. Max guided me to a battered door marked with a faded king of hearts. He knocked, a coded rhythm. The door opened a crack. A woman's weary eyes peered out glyphs and tears tattooed under one eye, hair a slick waterfall of black. She wore a leather jacket over pajamas. Rez, she hissed. You fucking idiot. You showed up here now? They're everywhere. Her gaze skated to me, assessing. This the girl? He nodded, grim. We need your car and your word you haven't switched sides. She snorted, but her eyes softened with something like an old pain. For you, Max, one time only. But after this, we're square. As she vanished to get the keys, I pulled Max into the cramped office. The fluorescent light flickered, painting everything a little sickly. He slumped into a chair, sweat shining on his brow. I crouched in front of him, voice trembling. How bad is it? The wound? He unbuttoned his sleeve. Blood, sticky and black-red, oozed from a deep gash. Not fatal, but ugly. You ever stitch a wound? He asked, eyes dancing on the edge of laughter. I shook my head, hands shaking. First time for everything? He murmured, pressing his forehead to mine. My fingers clumsy, I used the little first aid kit from the woman's desk, sterilizing, binding, trying not to pass out. The quiet grew intimate, the kind where you know everything is about to change, one way or another. As I worked, Max told me in low, raw snippets about his brother, about Sonia, how grief and loyalty keep reshaping his world. He asked in the smallest voice, What keeps you going, Miranda? Nothing did, I admitted, honesty a wound and a balm. Until tonight, the woman her name was Mika came back, tossing Max the keys. Dark blue Charger out back. Extra plates, phone in the glove, burner in the visor. Take the desert route, don't trust the highways. You got an hour tops before they track me down. She paused, then gripped my shoulder with surprising gentleness. You save him, girl. He always thinks he's too far gone. But sometimes even ghosts get a second chance. We slipped out the back. Under a shroud of stars, the car engine purred to life, and we shot down back streets. Headlights off, every muscle tight and ready for betrayal. Underscore, we reached the edge of the city just as the horizon began to blush, where urban sprawl withered into scrub and ghost motels. Max's arm shook as he drove, pain written in every line, but his voice was steady. What's next? I whispered, afraid to break the fragile safety we'd found. He squeezed my hand. If we make it out, we rebuilt together, but we don't look back, not even for Sonia. He pulled off the road, parking beneath a broken billboard. The desert wind was cold, sunrise bruising the sky, nothing but silence between us and whatever came next. He turned, and for the first time, I saw him not as the king of the underworld, but as a man utterly, devastatingly in love. I chose you, Miranda. Over money, over power, over all my ghosts. I need you to choose me back. Right now. In this dark, broken place, do you? My breath caught, the world falling hush around his words. I wanted to say yes, or wanted not to care at all. Instead, I leaned in, my answer the press of my lips, the promise in my trembling hands holding his face. Dawn bled over Vegas behind us, but for a fleeting moment, all we had was each other. Then, in the distance, a line of dust cars approaching, a final reckoning chasing us through sunrise. If love is survival, ours is about to be tested in fire. The first rays of sunlight turned the desert into a wasteland of gold and shadow. The city behind us was little more than a mirage, now one we can never go back to. Ahead, only emptiness, scrub, and the distant howl of the engines hunting us down. We waited in the Charger, every nerve stretched, counting heartbeats while the dust trail drew close. Max's breath came short and sharp. He tried to hide the pain, but I could see how much it cost him to even keep his eyes open. Get ready to run, he said, his eyes never leaving the rear view. When I tell you, you don't look back. I tightened my grip on the gun that Mika had slipped into the glove box. The metal felt too heavy, a grim talisman of everything we'd lost and everything we still had to lose. The first car crested the rise, the same black SUV that had hounded us all night. Behind it, two more, the sun winking off their windshields like the eyes of some monstrous beast. Max squeezed my hand, a silent apology, maybe even a goodbye. If they get me, forget me. Disappear. You're good at that. I shook my head, tears threatening. Not anymore. Not after you. The cars fanned out, engines rumbling as armed men spilled from their doors. Some wore the uniforms of Max's old crew, others the flash of rival syndicate colors. In the midst of the chaos was Sonia, pale but standing, a makeshift crutch under one arm, fury shimmering in her eyes. She didn't hesitate, aimed straight at Max, teeth bared, gun unwavering. This is where it ends, Rez, Sonia shouted, voice cracking from pain. No more running. No more saving lost girls. You die for what you did to all of us. Max stepped in front of me, arms spread. If he was afraid, he hid it well. You wanted power, Sonia? Take it, just leave her out of it. She hobbled closer, gun shaking. Why? So you two can vanish into the sunset? All the loyalty, all the blood, and you throw it away for her. Miranda's voice cut through, trembling but strong. He didn't throw it away, Sonia. You did. When he decided revenge mattered more than any of us surviving. A single shot rang out one of the gunmen, nerves frayed, firing wide. For a split second, everyone froze. These were the moments I'd always run from, forced from the center of a storm that could drown me. Not now. I stepped forward, gun at my side, heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Shoot him and you become the monster you think he is. Leave us, Sonia, or pull the trigger, but that blood will haunt you forever. Sonia hesitated, the future balancing, shimmering. Her eyes flicked to the men behind her, some shifting uneasily, looking from her to Max and back. Even in this world, loyalty frayed under the weight of fear. She lowered the gun just barely. This was never supposed to happen. I just wanted a way out. Max's voice was gentle, almost sad. We all do. Let us have ours. Underscore the tension snapped. A syndicate lieutenant nervous, sweating screamed for Sonia to finish it. Instead, she aimed at him. No one owns me anymore, not you. Not him. The crew hesitated, fate balanced on a hair. I could see it in their faces, some wanting blood, some wanting only to be done, to get back to whatever life they'd risked everything to build. It broke with shocking suddenness. Sonia tossed her gun at Max's feet and crumpled to her knees, sobbing. The lieutenant cursed, raised his weapon toward me, and Max whipped up Sonia's discarded gun and fired. Muzzle flash, dust kicked up, a wet gasp, and the lieutenant fell. Chaos erupted shouts, running footsteps, guns leveled and then dropped as it became clear their leader, their reason, was gone. I ran to Max. He was shaking, blood dripping, but alive. I grabbed his face, kissed him through snot and tears, and the taste of dust. Above us, the dawn kept coming. Underscore in the stunned, shattered aftermath, Mika's charger rolled up behind us, her face lined with worry and relief. She took Sonia's arm, pulled her up, holding her like an angry ghost who's finally found rest. Max turned to me, bruised, battered, beautiful in the rising sun. We're free. For now? I smiled, the weight of the world slipping from my shoulders as the desert wind swept the last scraps of Vegas from my hair. What now? I asked. We build something honest, Max answered, voice hoarse but steady. Or as close as we can get, together. And so we walked away from the battleground, from revenge, from the past that had nearly killed us, both knowing nothing would be easy, nothing would be certain. But for the first time, there was hope. There's always another game in Vegas. But this time, our luck felt real. 6 months later, I waked to sunlight pouring through threadbare curtains, warmth on my face, the gentle hush of a world that miraculously isn't trying to kill me. There's a hum outside. Distant traffic, maybe waves if I listen close enough and imagine hard enough. The thump of Max in the kitchen, humming Sinatra badly. I stretch, press my palm to the rusted necklace at my throat, a charm Max gave me, a king of hearts carved from casino brass, heavy with old luck. We've been many things since that dawn in the desert. Car mechanics in a border town, bakers selling pastries etched with cards and dice, fake husband and wife in a crooked little motel, lovers finding new ways to touch scars that never quite fade. Sometimes I wake with nightmares. Sometimes Max wakes first, drowning in some memory only he can see. But the days are different now, limned with possibility. Breakfast in bed with crime novels and grocery lists. A stray cat that adopted us, fierce and thin, surviving against all odds. Mika calls from time to time, codenames and updates on old ghosts moving slow, as if even Vegas itself is finally tired of hunting us. Sonia lives her leg never properly healed, but Mika says she manages a rough kind of peace. She sends postcards with nothing but a single question mark. Maybe one day she'll find us again. Today, Max hands me a mud-black coffee, too strong. He presses a kiss to my temple, eyes gentler than I believed possible. New life suit you? He asks, quiet but full of hope. I laugh, tangle my fingers in his. Some days, most days, he looks toward the window, watchful even now. Still ready to run? I squeeze his hand, unafraid for maybe the first time. Not unless you are. The world outside may still be sharp and hungry, full of debts and secrets and unfinished stories. But inside this sunlit kitchen, we've beaten the odds. For now, that's enough. Max sets the morning paper down, headlines screaming about a syndicate king lost and a fortune never found. He grins. If they only knew how little we kept. As we eat, we plan a road trip. Maybe north, maybe someplace with mountains or coast. Wherever we go, we'll carry our history, our ghosts, our wounds, and the impossible hope that, this time, love might actually stick around. For people like us, there are no fairy tales, just second chances, dusty roads, and the slow, halting, fearless business of becoming whole. Vegas is far behind us, but luck for once is on our side. Now it's my turn, Miranda, to ask you something. What did you think of my story? I've been imagining every reaction, every gasp, every question in your mind as you followed me through this journey. Would you like to hear more, maybe another adventure of mine or the untold truth of some other character lost in the shadows of Vegas? I honestly want to hear your opinion, your suggestions, even your criticisms, because that's what makes these stories feel real and full of life. Thank you for staying with me until the end, for lending me your ears and your heart. If you want more, leave a comment, share, send me your message. This story could be just the beginning, if you want it to be. I'll see you on the next page. Or maybe on a brand new escape at sunrise.